to the Trend Talk. We are your hosts, Belle Hernandez
and Marabina Jaimes. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, the month the government has designated for U.S. Latinos to try to squeeze in every accomplishment ever made by U.S. Latinos, and that's impossible.
Yes, and for several reasons. First of all, the census has the U.S. population of Latinos at 61 million strong, and that is 16.7 of the total national population. And 30 days is just not nearly enough for those of us who trace our heritage to Latin America or even Spain. We don't have enough time in 30 days to celebrate all of our cultural traditions and accomplishments. And second of all, I'm not Hispanic.
So what is a Hispanic? The term was coined in 1975 by a group working for the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare in Washington. A 26-year-old Grace Flores Hughes told Teen Vogue in 2018 that she and a diverse group of federal employees came together to convene as part of the ad hoc committee on racial and ethnic definitions. And they came up with the term Hispanic.
Flores Hughes is a Republican who currently sits on the National Hispanic Advisory Council for Trump. And you know, frankly, I am of the opinion that one should be able to call yourself whatever you want, and it's all good. For me, I call myself a Chicana, and my friends and family call themselves a variety of names: Mexican American, Latino, Latinx, Chicapinos, Ricans.
And I'm a Mex-Rican. And in this show, we will be celebrating all Latinos, Venezolanos, Cubanos, Salvadoreños, Latinx, or whatever you call yourself. But we reserve the right to keep celebrating beyond the 1 month, okay?
So don't go away. We'll be right back with our special Latino, Salvadoreño, Caribeño, Cubano, Chicano, Guatemalteco, Mexican American, Mex-Rican, Latinx Heritage Celebration episode. I Am a Voter's goal is to register 100,000 voters. Text FRIENDS to 26797 because
friends don't let friends skip elections. Welcome back to the celebration of all Latinos across the U.S. Today, we want to highlight the amazing contributions that American Latinos have made and continue to make in America. We'll also celebrate through clips of our amazing guests who come from all walks of life and who are making a difference in our world today.
So, 66% of all U.S. Latinos identify of being of Mexican heritage, including Dolores Huerta, whose phrase, "Si se puede," was anglicized by former President Barack Obama as a literal translation to "Yes, we can," which became his campaign slogan. However, it will always be the slogan of the majority of the Mexican farm workers who during COVID-19 are the very people who kept us fed.
Two of our guests, Cubano Manny Reese and Texan Nicholas Gonzalez, spoke to us about the importance of the farm workers, some of the most essential workers in America today.
Altísimo Live is all going to benefit our hashtag Mass for Farm Workers is the the hashtag we're working under, but Altísimo Live will go to benefit our relief fund, and it's another way that everybody kind of came together when the need arose.
And I think a lot of the celebrities and music artists had an immediate reaction because they realized, as you mentioned, that the farm workers are literally keeping us going, literally because they're in the front lines of our food supply, but also humanitarianly, they're always overlooked or probably invisible to society.
And we were thrilled when Lisa Vidal, an actress that personifies the essence of what it is to be a strong Latina, an American, or Puerto Rican, joined us and talked about working with a Puerto Rican legend, the late actor Raul Julia.
What a lovely man, what a humble soul. He was such an actor. And he had such great respect for his craft, and he was so generous and loved his people.
And now some U.S. history we didn't learn in history class. U.S. Latinos have been fighting for America's defense all the way back to the American Revolution. Mexicans, Cubans, Dominicans, and more gave men, gold, and materials to the American Revolution, delivered by Bernardo de Galvez, who in 1771 became the governor of Spanish Louisiana.
And Latinos continue to contribute to every industry, the arts included. Documenting history in Hamilton, one of the most game-changing musicals ever, was written by Puerto Rican Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait.
When he was 10, his father split full of it, debt ridden. 2 years later, see Alex and his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their own sick, the scent thick. And Alex got better, but his mother went quick.
Moved in with the cousin committed suicide. Left him with nothing but ruined pride. Something new inside a voice saying, Alex, you gotta fend for yourself. He started retreating and reading every treatise on the shelf.
There would have been nothing left to do for someone less astute. He would have been dead or destitute without a sense of restitution. Started working for his late mother's landlord, reading sugar cane and rum and all the things he can't afford. Scamming for every book he can get his hands on. Planning for the future, see him now as he stands on the bow of a ship headed for a new land. In New York, you can be a new man.
His other musical, In the Heights, documents the culture that is the largely Latino neighborhood of Washington Heights in New York. We talked to super talented actor, singer, Rick Negron, who worked on both these shows.
He called me out of the blue and he said, I'm working on this little show. It was 2004. He goes, it's a workshop. And it's this young kid named Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he's got this show called In the Heights. We're doing this thing at the O'Neill in Connecticut. It's no money, but oh, it's such a good show. You have to listen to the music.
We talked to producer Alex Fumero, who talked to us about a beloved TV icon known the world over, Walter Mercado, and his documentary, Amor, Mucho Amor.
Walter Mercado.
Walter Mercado.
Que ha salido para ti, Acuario, nada menos que la fortaleza, porque tú estás fuerte ahora, ¿eh?
We grew up with him. I can't think of an English language astrologer that would command the attention of millions of households.
Escorpio, te pones ahora insistente.
Some people who speak English do not understand how loved you are in the Spanish community.
He's very much his own incredible creation.
He's an androgen. He looks like a woman. Sometimes he looks like a man.
He was like one of the biggest characters, yeah. Not just with Spanish TV, anywhere.
But all of a sudden, he disappeared.
Yo tengo la teoría que tal vez no quiso envejecer ante las cámaras.
¿Puedo decir la edad?
No. Since the moment I was born, I know that I was not like everybody. Everything about me was different.
He made you stop. He had the stop quality.
Bill made me the most well-known psychic of this world.
He never identified as like heterosexual. You know what I mean? He would describe, he would say the future is male, masculine and feminine. It is this, I am a hybrid, like all these kinds of things. So he was really ahead of his time in terms of embracing this idea of like queerness and fluidity, right? Without using those terms. How he did that, I have no idea. I have to guess that his message of love and his sort of like generosity of spirit was so great that people were willing to kind of look past it. I don't think that they actually accepted gay people or non sort of binary binary sort of non-binary sort of folks. Like I don't think that was happening, but I think they accepted him because he really gave them something they needed.
My mother, Maria, may she rest in peace, left us this year at 95 years old. She always said, si quieres saber para dónde vas, fíjate bien de dónde vienes. You must know your past to understand where you're headed. Clinical psychologist Dr. Mario Martinez shared some great points on how culture affects not only your longevity, but your success. And he's from Uruguay.
The most dangerous of these portals is middle age.
because there's no such thing as middle age. When you ask a centenarian, what's middle age? And they said, that's dumb. You find out when you die. There's no such thing. So, so then, but if you go into middle age, that says, okay, my half of my life is gone. Now I'm just going downward. And I have to think of retirement, and I have to think of the nursing homes. That's not the way to think. Your biology does not go with that unless you impose it.
Legacy is something Latinos take pride in. Here, writer-producer Dan Guerrero with his thoughts on the father of Chicano music, his dad, Lalo Guerrero.
Dan Guerrero, the son of famous folk singer Lalo Guerrero, started out as...
Please don't call him a folk singer. He's not a folk singer.
No. Okay, what would you like me to call him?
Just say his name. I mean, he did boleros, he did chachas, he did corridos, he did cumbia. He was not a folk singer.
Yeah.
He was not burl tapes. Sorry.
And that'll be take 2, which we may use this though. Okay.
So don't move. We'll be right back with more of the Trend Talks Heritage episode. On January 4th, 2019, Forbes magazine headline read, Latin music is now more popular than country and EDM in America. Although hip-hop remains the top music genre in the US, and Latinos are a big consumer of that as well, we just must know that Latinos just love any kind of music.
Music is an intrinsic part of the gift Latinos have given the world. Countless romances and many families have started with songs like Sabor a Mi, a 1959 bolero by Mexican composer and singer Álvaro Carrillo. This song has been performed all over the world by countless artists in Spanish.
Recently, we talked to award-winning director Carlos Hurtado, who directed David Lawrence in the new imagining of this song, made famous by his mother, Iri Gourmet.
Tanto tiempo disfrutamos de este amor, nuestras almas se acercaron tanto así, que yo guardo tu sabor, pero tú llevas también sabor a mí.
Talk about his mom, about what it really meant for him, the heart that it was coming from, and he wanted to make it something really special. It means a lot to him. Because his mom had passed away, I believe, in 2013, 2014, around that time. And this was like a gift for her, for his mom, and also to launch his career and to do something new.
During our last 50 Trend Talk interviews, we've connected with the creators of the images that you're seeing on television and film. The writers and producers we talked to had one thing in common: the need to show Latinos in a different light than the usual way Hollywood chooses to portray us. Let's take a look.
And Seth Kurland, the creator, they created this story. I mean, originally, our conversation was very small about like, hey, let's do an idea about a genius kid that happens to be Latino. Really, our journey feels different in a lot of ways. There's a lot of conversation about Latino stories, about Mexican American stories, about Mexican immigrant stories. There's so many different stories that fall into the category of Latino, right? And now Latinx. So I think Mario and I have a tendency to really connect on our journeys as Mexican Americans. So we have a tendency to really be positive about who we are, about what we're capable of.
This is the funniest paper on existentialism I've ever read. And I was like, great, what's my grade? Because I don't know how to grade it. Because you have no footnotes, you have no thesis statement, but you seem to understand the material and you've presented it in this very humorous way. And I'd like you to meet some people in the theater department, because there's a sketch comedy group and they perform every week, and they always need writers because they do an original show every week. So I met these people, I started writing sketches for them, and I never looked back. Like I became a creative writing major. I went to Chicago and became part of Second City because of that. and found my wife there. We met, got married, came out here, and I've just been on that path ever
You went
since.
to UCLA. You've worked on all of these big time Hollywood films. You've done TV, and yet you chose to go the independent way, which is the hardest way to go. Like you said, you did your first film. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I think that I kind of went both ways at the same time. I mean, I have worked on big Hollywood films, and I've worked in television, and that's really how I support the family and bring in, you know, pay the mortgage and stuff. But never dropped the dream of making our own independent films, because if you want to see the change, you have to be the change, right? So we taught ourselves, you know, over the course of 20 years, writing, directing, producing, editing, everything. And so that's what we are. We're now a little production company here at our house, and we control our own productions. So I think independent film gives you the control over your story and your image and your point of view.
Actress, and you know, you all know, we were so stereotyped in those years. I mean, even now I notice it, but you know, in the 80s and 90s, it's like I was a working actress doing really well, and then I went to edit my tape, and you know, each clip, my accent was heavier than the other. I landed like this, you know, big guest star on Heart to Heart. And I was so excited. And I was a telephone operator who worked at this resort hotel. And I'm going to the makeup room, and the makeup woman puts purple eyeshadow up to here on me. I mean, deep, dark purple eyeshadow. And I'm like, what are you doing? This girl, you know, she works at a nice resort hotel. Why is she doing that? It's like, because all Latinas wear purple eyeshadow. And there was
literally said that?
Literally said that to me. And I was practically crying, because I just felt I didn't look like myself. I looked so horrible. And I realized that I was never, ever going to have the power to change that from being, you know, a guest star or the flavor of the week, you know, on any show that just rotates actors. You know, you need to come from a place of more power.
And we also talked to the talent that got to play some of these meaty roles.
Via storytelling, via the medium that I do as an actress, you know. Why is my mother yelling? Sorry. I am so sorry, you guys.
This is so Mexican. Have you seen those?
This is how it works. It's okay. Look, all you have to do is, Mom, I'm on Zoom. That's what my son does when he's on school, so it's okay.
You guys, I'm on Zoom real quick. I need you to keep it a little down.
And I'm trying to talk to these people, and Gloria, my agent, she's saying, you know, Danny, I think this would be a better idea. And I, oh God, it's like, you know, and she kind of just talked me into doing this. And I'm like, this is stupid, no money. But anyway, we did it, and it turned into a trilogy. So I made 3 times the money, you know. So listen to your agents, all right?
What's the name of the movie?
Badass.
Ah,
it ended up a great movie, right?
Artists always lead the way. You know, they have to lead the way. We're the ones that always think outside the box.
Dan Bukatinsky, me and him were one of 2 of 5 Latinos who were ever on Friends.
That's right. That's right.
You were
like,
I go, you were on Friends? I go, yeah, I was on Friends too. He goes, really? And then I looked up Latinos on Friends, and literally there were 5 Latinos in all the years.
I taught myself, you know, to really practice and really submerge myself in people's art. So I learned to write. I was a student of writing. So this whole time I've been writing for a lot of other people, and that's been my source of income. I've been producing for a lot of people. I'm a video editor. I'm an editor. I'm social media expert. I make sure I was prepping for a time where we weren't performing. And let me tell you, when you're a Latino in comedy, and I hate to play the race card, we don't get that much headlining spots in the clubs. Right. So what's the difference between this? Not much. Our income as comedians does not come from the clubs. It comes from what we do outside the clubs.
Right. Oh my God, I just saw you on Jane the Virgin, or people who are just now starting to watch it. And it is a piece of television history that depicts the Latino in a very different light, which is what we truly are. We're not just one-dimensional, you know.
My character is Grandma Marino
oh my God, this is an amazing lady, you know, because he's so funny. And he's a trainer of the heroes, superheroes.
Common to see the gangbanger leave or be wrestling with these moral dilemmas. So I was very excited to play that.
Without a doubt, I had to take risks and I had to say no to a lot of prostitute roles, drug dealer girlfriends. Like, I didn't want to perpetuate that stereotype. I was like, this caca ain't different. It just be the same caca, and I don't want to play it, you know? So I had to say to myself, like, okay, Lisa, you know what? This might mean that you're not going to work as much, or I don't know, if this doesn't work, maybe you're not an actress. Like, you know, I had to ask myself those questions because I come from a family of very strong women. You know, nobody's been perfect by any means, but, you know, a lot of them are educated. A lot of them work their behinds off, you know, business women, and whether they came from the hood or, you know, the island of Puerto Rico back in the day, you know, my abuelas, my tias, all of them, man, they were hustlers and they worked to make it in this country. And, you know, they were not prostitutes, you know, they weren't drug dealers. And so I was like, well, what is this? Like, this is, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I said, I want to play a non-stereotypical mom, Latina mom, where like most of us really are in real life, right? How we care about ourselves and how we look, we take care of ourselves, we still want to be sexy, right? We're not caricatures, we're not stereotypical, but we're still strong moms, we're business owners, we run the home, we care for our husbands, and we make great decisions, you know, we cook, we clean, we are multitasking on a daily basis, and somehow we find joy in life, right? I wanted to play that kind of woman. So yes, I inject a lot of Lisa into Mari because that's who I wanted us Latino people to see on television, which is very different than what we usually see.
So glad that I made it right on time. You know, I like to kind of go against stereotype with Latinos always being late. So my mom was like a big stickler for that. She'd be everywhere like 30 minutes early.
We have, I think, one of the, if not the most inclusive and diverse show on TV right now. And, you know, I think Netflix is doing a beautiful job in using their platform to empower and just spread positivity. And I'm super proud to be a part of that.
I'm one of those things that I'm the ethnically ambiguous actor. So, which is lovely because then I get to play a whole, you know, on stage as an actor, I'm not limited. Somehow the stage is more forgiving of where you come from, what you are. And I think that's opening up better now for actors of Latino heritage or Asian heritage and Black heritage. The blind casting is coming into vogue.
That means that if there are 5 soldiers in a group, 3 or 4 of them are Latinos are going to have a Medal of Honor. And so a lot of that representation we've never really seen in film or television. And I had already done a production where I played soldiers. And wherever I went, it was always veterans, Latino veterans asking, man, when are we going to see ourselves up there? There's so many of us. And so rather than lobby another production company or Hollywood, I decided, well, I don't trust them anyway to do it right. So I decided to do it myself.
We invite you to check out all our IGTV Trend Talk interviews and see all of our amazing guests, all making us proud of the work they do. They represent the pride of our heritage. They still carry a little bit of their culture everywhere they go.
And that is why we proclaim that every day of the year is our month. What is in your heart is more important than what you choose to call yourself. Even the Pew Center finally got it right.
In 2019, the Pew Center, after years of being criticized for the term Hispanic, finally proclaimed, who is Hispanic? Anyone who says they are, and nobody who says they aren't.
And with that, the celebration continues. We'll be right back with our Trend Talk Trendsetter shout out. Don't go away. In the time of COVID and the quarantine, We were thrilled to have been able to speak to over 50 guests on our IGTV Trend Talk Show edition.
And so today's Trend Talk Trendsetter shout out goes to our amazing U.S. community of Latinos, Puerto Ricanos, Mexican Americans, Dominicanos, Caribeños, Venezolanos, Guatemaltecos, Salvadoreños, Chicanos, Cubanos, well, you fill in the rest, who make up this country what it is, rich in culture and tradition.
You can still see our episodes on IGTV. But to catch the new episodes, you need to tune in to this station.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we leave you with this. When singer-songwriter Dan Navarro was here, we talked about the song We Belong, which was made famous by Pat Benatar, and which he co-wrote with his writing partner, Eric Lowen of Lowen and Navarro.
Maybe it's a sign of weakness when I don't know what to say. Maybe I just wouldn't know what to do with myself.
A classic, a perfect song to say that no matter what we choose to call ourselves, unity is what matters. Together we're stronger. Together we belong together.